expressed in this program by the host or guests do not state or reflect those of the company, its management, sponsors, or any entities they represent.
Oh, it's lit. We prime time. Subscribe, like, and share. Give us your feedback. Yo, I'm Manny at the plate and Kobe off a steal. Gretzky for the goal and Brady at the wheel. I'm a game changer, the Osaka of the tennis. And breaking scoreboard, Simone of the Olympics. Defense and big business, the Mayweather who way better. From the greatness of Jim Brown, I've been down. Talking sports before I was off the porch. Screaming Bo knows while Jordan was playing horse. Late 80s getting torched by the drive and the shot. 2016 got a ring off the three in the block. They eased to forgot the cardiac kids. Price and Doherty, Bale in the Indian years. This who it is. Your host DeeTrynt, yo, that's a name banger. Come in the streets and talk sports with the game changer. Yo, your host DeeTrynt, that's a name banger. Come in the streets and talk sports with the game changer. Was really, really good. DeeTrynt, GameChanga Sports Talk, InDaStreetzSportz. Man, what's popping? How y'all feeling? All right. It is fall season. Okay. It is that time of the year where sports is just the most prominent thing on TV. All right. You know, football, we 6 weeks into football, going into the first week of the NBA season, while narrowing down to the last few weeks of the MLB season. NHL taking off, college about to start going ham. You know, I mean, college football already going crazy. And then you got, you know,
Major League
college
Soccer playoffs.
basketball.
Yep, I'm sorry. I'm interrupting. Major League Soccer playoffs going, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Montreal and shout out to them Cincinnati boys and shout out to them LA boys. FC, not them other boys.
Okay, then, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, it's all sports is welcome here. So I appreciate that update, Holy. You already know. Yeah, so this is sports season. Depending on where you at in the country, it's about to start snowing. People get ready for that. The weather changing. You know what I'm saying? It's about to be more time in the house. It's really gonna go down, man.
Another update is
But
snowing in the
unfortunately,
land. Snowing and raining in the land.
it's snowing and well, I'm not
Yeah,
surprised
you
at that.
lucky, man. You lucky you don't. Well,
I'm
I
not
ain't gonna say you too
surprised.
lucky because y'all just have some real shit going on down there. But you already know how it is in
You
the
know, for
land, man. I'm
real.
gonna let you get back to your sports, but yeah, that's that Cleveland weather update. We do got snow. It didn't touch down.
Damn, it's the touchdown. Look, that's crazy. Um, but this is like my favorite part of the year. I like it when all the sports is going on. You really in the thick of things. Um, and I mean, it's the reason why we here. All right. I'm just getting my share on right quick. You know what I'm saying? Try to get more people in. Thank you all for tuning in. DeeTrynt, GameChanga Sports Talk, InDaStreetzSportz, streaming on multiple multimedia platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. You know, if you missed the live programming, you can catch the replays on Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcast, Radio Public. Also, if you tuning in from Twitter, all right, if you tuning in from Twitter and you comment, I just realized that Twitter comments is not coming up like everybody else's. So, uh, transfer it to it over on Facebook. You see the link, or transfer over to it on and watch it from YouTube or Twitch. And I'll be able to see your comments. Even if you just inbox, you know what I'm saying? I'll probably be able to see that too. But I just learned that. So all my Twitter people, you know what I'm saying, just catch the link on YouTube, so that way I can see your comments. You know what I'm saying? At least share it on the Twitter side, you feel me? And I catch the retweet or something like that, and we'll work it like that. But I always appreciate everybody coming in. Now I'm trying to keep it light and keep it cool. because we've had a bad weekend of Cleveland sports. Well, not necessarily, right? Because technically, the Tribe started off the weekend fire. Well, they held the middle of the weekend, right? So the Cavs lost their preseason finale to Orlando. They was down here too. Fortunately, at the time that they was down here, I was in Daytona. And then on the way down, I probably could have caught the game on the way down, to be honest. But I just had other things I was getting prepared for, so I didn't really take advantage of that opportunity right there. However, though, it's just the last preseason game. Evan Mobley played. He only played about 8 minutes, but it looked pretty cool. It's gonna be nice to see the whole team together. Um, but I'm not even about to get into the Cavs just yet. The Guardians. Shout out to the Guardians. Okay, holding they own. Getting down to the nitty gritty with these Yankees. Now on the update side. Major leagues hate Cleveland sports. Okay. So the report dropped that the Yankees had plane trouble getting back to New York and they couldn't leave till Monday, the day of the game, which actually was not actually quoted correctly. The team playing for the Yankees made it back to New York on time just fine. It was the family and friends playing for most of them that didn't get back till Monday morning. So that's not as significant. Okay. The Tribe, the Guardians get to New York, and on Monday, they don't have hotels with enough room to keep the whole roster. So they got to split them up amongst the city. Now, you know why they doing that? Because the Yankees lost. They won one game. So they won the first game of the series. Then the Guardians won Friday and Saturday because the Thursday game got postponed till Friday. So they won the Friday game on the comeback, 4-2. Then they won the Saturday game. Then the Yankees won the Sunday game. So they're supposed to play on Monday, but all this didn't happen. They postponed the game for a rain out. But you can find the various videos on social media sites where you see Yankees fans being upset because they're at the game and it's barely raining. So we already know that the Yankees don't want to lose to Tito again. This is what this is about. They don't want to keep losing to Terry Francona. Okay? This is all this is about. However, though, that was a good spot on the weekend. All right. The Guardians gave Cleveland life, because we didn't know what to expect come Sunday afternoon. All right. For some reason, these Browns can't figure out what team they want to be. So we've been having this issue. All right. So let's get into this issue. All right. The Browns lost to Bill Belichick and the Patriots. Lost. My fault. They lost 38-15. Okay. Now a lot of people will say, how did Bill Belichick put up all those points on the Browns team? Right? And in my opinion, this boils back down to Cleveland not knowing who they are, bro. They don't really know who they are. They don't know who they want to be. Um the crazy part about this game is it was a 10-6 game coming out of halftime. All right. And at one point it was a 17-9 game. The game didn't get out of hand until the last 5 minutes of the game. Or last 9 minutes, something like that. Okay. And not even to beat a dead horse, because I'm not with the specifics of why they lost. it's just some things I want to point out. One, this team doesn't play complement football. You know, the special teams unit is not hungry or eager to try to put the offense and the defenses in the positions to where they can take advantage of the opposing team. Um, and that's just a bottom line. Now, the defense comes on every so often in the game, and they show up in times when we really need them. But well, not all the time when we really need them, but in times when we really need them, they show up. It's not consistent, but they've done it. And then for some reason, the offense then just seems to lose it. Like, so I'm just saying, like, they're not playing complement football at all. A lot of people want to call for these coaches' jobs, and I just don't see it like that. I want to remind all my Cleveland people that Cleveland does not have a winning culture yet. Okay, they're still building a winning culture, but they don't have it yet. All right, they're still in transition. You know, I used this analogy earlier, and I say for those who can relate, right? When you have a loved one, a peer, um, who's done time, in the prison system, right? These individuals go down, what we say go down or get locked up, for periods of time, 3 years, 5 years, 8 years, 10 years, 7 years, whatever it is, 20 years. And we have a saying when, for example, let's say this specific individual spent 3 years locked up in jail. When they come home, you got to give them at least 3 years to be reacclimated back into the society that they come into. Because the world is not the same when you left it 3 years ago. And these guys really be in there like not really knowing what's going on the outside. Like they really just be in that little world. You know what I'm saying? So, I use that to say like the Browns have been a bad organization for like 30 years. All right, at least 20 years this millennium. Like they've been a bad organization for a long time. So for a person to think that after 3 seasons they gonna get it, that's unrealistic. I mean, it's been more than 3 seasons. I can say since they drafted Myles Garrett that the team has progressively been getting better in certain areas every year. All right. And another thing you got to understand is that what earned your place, like whatever you did, and this go for coaches and players like front office people, whatever role you played or whatever talent you displayed that got you into the NFL is not going to be the same skill per se that makes you a champion. Somewhere you have to adjust or you have to dumb it down. Yeah, you could do all these other things, but you're more dominant here, and your dominance here allows these players to be dominant in what they do everywhere else. Okay. And the Browns are still figuring that out. It's unrealistic to think after 3 seasons that Stefanski gonna have it down pat. Belichick been here 20 years. He's still learning and gotta adjust. Andy Reid, Mike Tomlin. You got LaFleurs, who are sons of a former great coach, also with Kyle Shanahan. You know what I mean? So, excuse me. It's just one of the things where we just got to be patient. You know, I came into this year and I told them no expectations. Why you don't got no expectations, man? Because this team still has to figure out how to win. How to be effective. How to string together wins. And that's just something they haven't really done yet. and I'm not down on the Browns, and the biggest reason for me having no expectations on them this year is for the simple fact so I can actually enjoy the season. When you don't have no expectations, you're going to appreciate whatever gets done whenever it gets done. You're going to be able to see everything for what it is, and really, be able to say, okay, this is where you have problems at, or where this is where you're not having problems at. So I'm able to look at the Browns and I'm able to say, okay, this is where they having an issue at. This is where, they're doing pretty good at, where they need to get better at. So just to give you some examples of what I'm talking about, right? People are mad at Stefanski for the way he calls the game. But to be fair, his play calling is about the only positive thing on the Browns right now. Now, I can't blame coaches for players' lack of execution. It's a difference if they're calling plays and nobody's in a position to make a positive play, no matter what play they call. That's bad coaching. It's bad scheming. But when there are plays there to be made and the quarterback or the receiver or the running back is just not making the play, there's nothing to do with the coach. The coach can't call the play and go out there and be the quarterback, running back, back. Like the quarterback can't be the receiver, Like it's a team game for a reason. It's trust. You have to be able to trust that the guy that you're playing next to is going to be able to hold his own. But the coach has to trust, right? I had a beef. I don't necessarily have a beef with him having Jacoby Brissett throw the ball 45 times. I have a beef with Jacoby Brissett having open options for all 45 passes, which means that Jacoby's a one read quarterback, maybe three reads. All right. You get 5 receivers on every play, just about. All right. I've literally watched Jacoby Brissett not look at a certain time a side of the field, and he had 5 seconds to throw the ball. So these plays, these 45 passes, and I use the number 45 because that's the number of passes that Jacoby Brissett threw in this past game against Bill Belichick and the Patriots. He threw the ball 45 times, bro. That means Njoku and Amari Cooper should have had like 15 targets apiece. Hunt should have had a bunch of targets. Chubb should have had a bunch of targets. And then, the other ones could have been DPJ and Harrison Bryant. The fact that Stefanski is not specifically drawing up plays that specifically get one of his playmaker the ball on any given play is the problem with the play call. The plays he's calling are working plays when the team actually executes the play like it's supposed to. So in that regard, I'm saying, like, I can't blame Stefanski and say it's his scheme, but I can say you're not making it dummy proof, which is like kind of your job. Like you gotta make it dummy proof. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be able to say, okay, you know what? This right here, I mean, it works, but it don't work how I need it to work for the consistency I need. So this what we gonna do. We gonna adjust it here. But again, Stefanski is a 3rd-year coach. His first full season, with his team, off season that is. And on top of that, he's still dealing with controversies. So this is why I'm like, I don't got no expectations. All right. Now when it comes to the defensive side of the ball, all right, which is probably where people got the biggest issues, all right, is the defensive side of the ball. And I think The base scheme is the problem. Now, when I say that, I'm not saying like they don't have something with that they have. It's just that they don't have the full personnel to run what he's trying to run the way they trying to run it. I also found something that I can actually be mad at Andrew Berry about, which is why didn't you trade for Deion Jones in the offseason? Now, it could be a number of things. They didn't know how he was going to come off the injury or whatnot, or if he was whatever the case. Maybe Atlanta was trying to drive a harder bargain than they did eventually by the time they actually made the trade. But it would have been a lot better for this defense for Anthony Walker Jr. and Deion Jones to been the starting two linebackers. I'm just saying. Now you don't got one, but you got the other. So just looking forward, I would want to bring Anthony Walker back for another year to see what he's like with Deion Jones, but you can't put the cart before the horse. So I actually got to see how the player is going to develop from now to the end of the year before I can really come to a hard conclusion on that notion. However the case, though, you know, the Browns defense, I just feel like it's the wrong people. It's the wrong people making the right plays. You know, um, from this past game, something that stood out to me is that even though I don't feel like Greg Newsome can tackle like that, Greg Newsome is active. Like on defense, he stands out as a player that makes it his business to try to be in on every play. I will argue that Grant Delpit does the same thing. They try to find a way to be impactful some type of way on every play. And I think that's something you can't teach. Like effort is something you cannot teach. You either want to play hard or you don't play hard. You know what I'm saying? Um, and I don't think that's something you should penalize a person for. That's more of like you got to curb their enthusiasm. So to me, and I'm gonna go back to this, y'all. He need to run 3 defensive linemen in that middle of that defense. He need to run 3 defensive tackles, and he needs to use Miles and Jadeveon like linebackers. I'm gonna keep saying that. Having Deion Jones in that middle helps the Browns linebacking core, who has had trouble defending the pass for a decade now. This is not a new issue with the Browns defense. The Browns linebacking core has struggled to cover athletic tight ends and running backs for a decade. Okay? I'm really hoping Deion Jones will come in and solve that. Because if he can do that, the defense will look a lot better. If you can get 3 defensive linemen down there that's going to at least can soak up 4 blockers. Now you got one-on-one on one free every time on the side. People like, oh, Miles just going to rush in. That's not how you should be using Miles. Miles should be like a heat-seeking missile, right? He don't necessarily got to rush in off top. The threat of him about to rush in off top is enough to help anybody on that defense, all right? DeeTrynt, GameChanga Sports Talk, InDaStreetzSportz. You know what I'm saying? Streaming on multiple media platforms, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can follow us on Instagram as well. If you missed the live recordings, make sure that you go subscribe, follow, like, share, comment on the Spotify, the Anchor, Google Podcasts, Radio Public. You look for the InDaStreetzSportz channel, and you will find a GameChanga Sports Talk right on there. We got the links in the chat, so if you want to come up, chop it up, talk, say you want to, your piece, bring your team up, it's always welcome. Also, make sure y'all stay tuned in because we got some more shows dropping. We got some more things coming up, music shows. You got to catch the Who Ballin'. Hollywood Who Ballin', where he give updates on the big three, soccer or football, a lot of boxing, a lot of local and young talent. Ooh. So make sure y'all check that out. Subscribe, like, and share to the channel. All right, so like I'm saying with this defense, man, he need to use your two outside studs like linebackers. You have that advantage. And your secondary you could play with. You could have times um where it's, Greedy, Ward, Newsom back there on coverage. I think JLK is more of a strong safety than he is a linebacker, and I think they should utilize him like that. But again, I ain't saying fire the coaches. I just feel like you gotta give people time to grow. A big part of loyalty is still being loyal to a person when they're not at their best. Like when they're at their worst, loyalty still applies. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanna say, like, we gotta stay down. We can't try to criticize every little thing that's going on and make it a big deal issue. Oh, we should trade for this person, do all that. Like, it's the middle of the season. Like, we got enough talent to where this team can grow. But also, these coaches got to grow. They young coaches. The team is young. The coach, the front office is young. Like, there's nobody within this organization with a championship pedigree. So all of these guys, all of these people, all this personnel are still trying to learn how to win. All right. And we just got to keep that in mind. They still learning how to win. And like I say, the way you got into the league is not necessarily the way you're going to have to play to be effective. Mac Wilson went to the Patriots. The Patriots used him as a strong safety, not as a linebacker. I just want to throw that out there, right? But ain't gonna hold up a lot of time too. Let's talk about these Cavaliers. The NBA season is going to start tonight, right? Now I have an NBA segment. Me and Scully, I have an NBA segment coming up later on in the week. Make sure y'all check that out too on the Industry Sports channel. And what do I think about the Cavs? All right. I think right now I got the Cavs as a 6 seed. But I really think that if they, get all on one accord and put it together, that they could be a top 4 seed for sure. It's just about how they utilize. Again, JB Bickerstaff has taught team basketball how to play together. Now he has to teach them how to play winning basketball. And team basketball and winning basketball is not the same execution. It's a little different, right? Because when you play winning basketball, you play to the strength of your best players. And that's just in any sport. When you play like the winning version, like you play to put your best players in a position to dominate the game. That's why they're your best players. That's why you pay them the money. You pay them the money so they can put up the stats. That's what you want. Because them hitting their numbers is what put fans in the seats. You see what I'm saying? So, and everybody understands that, right? So for this Cavalier team, the first thing they got to figure out is who the number one option is. First and foremost. This is before we can even talk about championship run, how many playoff games they can win. We got to start with the basics. Who is the number one option? Who is the number two option? Who is the number three option? Who is the number one and number two options off the bench? We just speaking scoring wise. I think defensively, everybody's about knows their role. As far as playing as a team, I think everybody's got the concept of how to play together. But they got to play to win, right? Is Evan Mobley the number one, or is he the number two, or is he the number three option? Is he the number three option that is planned for him to become more of a number two, number one option by the time the year ends? Donovan Mitchell, as great and dynamic as he is as a number one option, he's never led a team to the finals. So is he more suited as a number two option, or is he still good as a number one option now that he got more capable pieces around him as a collective? Darius Garland. Darius Garland, in my opinion, and I'm gonna say this, even though I don't think Darius is a super max player right now, I think he is the engine to the team. I think without him, they are a lot worse than they are better. Worse probably ain't even a real word. They're a lot worse than they are better. But he is not a number one option. Matter of fact, I think it hurts your team the most if he is a number one option. He should have a green light. But because you have a green light, don't make you a number one option. I need people to understand that. All right. It's about the role on the team. And right now, from the point guard position, he can handle, he can get guys open with his handle, and he can shoot and get guys open with his shot. So when you have something like that, you would like it to be your fail-safe, especially at his size and his position. Is it different if he was a wing, he was LeBron or Kawhi or something like that? You can get that off. But for a guy his size, you asking too much to want him to be your number one option. I think him as a number three option right now, him as a number three option is best for your team. Because that means if it all breaks down, I can give it to him and he can make a good decision. He can make a good decision. Now people will say, oh, that sounds like number one option type shit. But no, like your number one option on the scoring side is a guy who can flat out get it. He can flat out get it. We know Mitchell can flat out get it, but he hasn't demonstrated with us yet that he can flat out get it. Or granted, he hasn't really had the time to be able to put that on display like that. You know what I'm saying? So you got to consider all the factors. But that small forward position, I think that is Isaac Okoro's position. I think Isaac Okoro starting at the small forward gives them the best chance to succeed now and later. Also, I done threw my hands up with Windler. I threw my hands up. I am a guy who has been advocating for Windler since I found out about it. Not since they drafted him, but since I found out about it. And I seen him play. But bruh, the best ability is availability. And my guy ain't been available for like 3 seasons. And when he is available, he ain't really available. So I'm kind of just off the trail on that. No, maybe it might can turn around. I don't know. But I am excited to see how they really deploy this team. I really hope Karras comes off the bench with Kevin Love, because I think having those two to insert as 6-man makes this team a lot more deadly. And when they get Rubio back, it's going to become even more of a problem. So, as far as the Cavs making any trades, I really ain't for that right now unless it's somebody that's going to come in and move the needle. or really gives us something that we really don't have that we need. Excuse me. But at this point in time, I'm just excited to see what they gonna do. You know what I'm saying? I'm just excited to see how they gonna play. I want to see how Evan Mobley takes that turn. I want to see how they all gel together. I want to see what it looks like after 10 games. And I probably won't give no true hard assessments till after like 15, 20 games, just because again, I don't have any expectations for the Cavs this year. I just think that they could be at least, I think they could be a 6 seed or better if they put it together. You know what I'm saying? Much like I thought with the Browns, like, hey, if they put it together, they could go 8-3. You know, they can go 9-2, 10-1. And technically, they should be 5-1. But things happen. You know what I'm saying? The Cavs have had way less controversy than what the Browns had to deal with. So I just think, it might be a little smoother for them, but the Cavs aren't an under the radar team anymore. They're not going to surprise teams with their play and their talent. People are going to be gutted for the Cavs. So, we gonna see, man. JB, you got Luke Walton there. Look, you know, let's see. We're going from a team game to a winning game. And I want to see how that's gonna work. DeeTrynt, GameChanga Sports Talk, Industry Sports. Listen, man, it's been a pleasure rocking with y'all. I gotta do a couple things, but I just wanted to make sure I get in here, chop it up with y'all. Make sure y'all tune in to, I believe it's CBS. Hold on, let me get the accuracy on this. Okay, make sure y'all tune in. Oh, they playing right now. They playing right now. Bottom of the first. Yankees up 3-0. They playing on TBS. All right, so we got to tune in and watch that. Support them Guardians. They trying to play them like they trying to play them. They want New York to win. But make sure y'all tune in, man. DeeTrynt, GameChanga Sports Talk, Industry Sports. Yeah, Cal. Stanton hit a 3-run homer. I just seen you. What's up, Cal? It's cool. It's only the first inning though. So, I wouldn't stress that too much. It's only the first inning. But, man, let me get on here and get on this road, y'all. It's always a pleasure. I'm going to get up with y'all in a second. DeeTrynt, GameChanga Sports Talk, Industry Sports, streaming on multiple media platforms, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook. You know what I'm saying? Catch it on Instagram. You missed the live programming. Definitely check out the replays on Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, and other multimedia streaming programs. So thank y'all, man. Enjoy. Be cool. I'm gonna get up with y'all in a second.